Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the Centennial Cherry Blossom Tree Commemoration. My name is Vanessa Tenazas, a sophomore in the Elliott School of International Affairs, majoring in Asian Studies. I am joined by Alicia Rose, also a sophomore in the Elliott School. We are leaders of a small but proud student group, the Japanese American Student Alliance, which seeks to unite students at the George Washington University who demonstrate an interest and enthusiasm about Japanese culture and language.
We are here to celebrate dual centennials. 100 years ago, the George Washington University relocated to the Foggy Bottom neighborhood. That same year, in 1912, the city of Tokyo gave the city of Washington 3,000 cherry blossom trees. This symbol of international friendship blooms every spring, celebrated through the efforts of partnering organizations across the district, including the National Cherry Blossom Festival, the National Park Service, and the Embassy of Japan. Thousands of visitors flock to see the trees at peak bloom, and GW students simply walk a few blocks to bask in their loveliness.
There is no better gift that the university can give its community than the shade and splash of color of the iconic cherry blossom tree to permanently commemorate its 100-year location in a neighborhood adjacent to the National Mall and monuments. The plaque that will be placed near the tree in Mid-Campus Quad will feature a haiku poem that will evoke the tree's spring blossoms at any time of year. We'd like to read that poem now, in Japanese and in English, followed by 3 haikus our group discovered when researching this form of Japanese poetry. Samazama no koto o mohidasu sakura kana. Calling to mind all manner of things, cherry blossoms.
Sakura saki, minna niko niko waratteru. With the cherry blossoms blooming, everyone is smiling.
Doko made mo tsuzuite hoshii sakura michi. I want the row of cherry blossoms to continue on forever.
Maeochiru, hitoi hitori ni yume atae. The petals fall and inspire each of us, one by one. We'd like to thank President Knapp and the George Washington University for the newest tree, a living monument to GW's history and to Washington's favorite springtime tradition. It is now my honor to introduce George Washington University President Stephen Knapp.
Thank you very much, Alicia and Vanessa. And thank you for not only for opening our ceremony so eloquently, but for those beautiful haiku that you recited for us. And it is striking. If you go to the Cherry Blossom Festival at the time when the blossoms are all in bloom, you do have a sense that they do go on forever, right? I mean, just walk that row, not only from the tidal basin, but all along the Potomac, all the way down to the Lincoln Memorial. And it's interesting to reflect on the fact that as we share this centennial celebration this year with the Cherry Blossom Festival, because the cherries arrived in 1912, the very same year that we arrived here in Foggy Bottom, it's striking to kind of just reflect on the fact that the Lincoln Memorial was not there at that time. When we got here, the Lincoln Memorial had not yet been built. Most of the monuments, in fact, that we associate with the mall and with the look of Washington, D.C. did not yet exist. The city was half the size it is now. When we got here as a university, we had been in 2 previous locations, but when we arrived here and we're on a little strip of G Street, just a block away from here, we only had 1,000 students at that time. Now we have some 25,000 students, 10,000 undergraduates here, 15,000 graduate students both here and in our campuses in Virginia, and of course we have our Mount Vernon campus where some of our undergraduates also reside. But we've used this year, the whole year, to celebrate what it is to be part of, we like to say, in and of this great capital city of Washington, D.C. And I think there's no better way to celebrate that. We've been very much looking forward to this particular event in our centennial to make the connection between what it means to be part of this great city and the great symbol of friendship that was the gift from the Japanese government to the American people of the cherry blossoms. So it is a really wonderful occasion. We're sorry we can't be outdoors where the tree will eventually make its home, just behind Lisner Hall, just sort of kitty corner from here. But we hope you'll be able to see it and to watch it blossom in the spring, where it will join its brother and sister cherry blossom trees all up and down this great capital city. And it's now my pleasure to, I do want to acknowledge, and I'm going to introduce the next speaker, who is Diana Mayhew, who is president of the National Cherry Blossom Festival. And we've just been chatting a little bit about connections between our institutions. Diana is the director of events at Downtown DC BID and president of the National Cherry Blossom Festival, as I said, and under her leadership, the festival is now internationally recognized, offering multiple signature events, including a family day and the official opening ceremony. And each year, the National Cherry Blossom Festival attracts millions of attendees, and it's regarded as one of the district's most important cultural events. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Diana Mayhew.
Thank you, President Knapp. It's my pleasure to be here and to continue the celebration, the centennial of the cherry blossom trees, and also the centennial of GW here on this campus. How exciting. Just thank you very much for having me here today. The National Cherry Blossom Festival is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to promoting the beauty of nature and international friendship throughout the year-round programs, events, and educational initiatives that enhance our environment, showcase arts and culture, and build community spirit. As Dr. Knapp said, this year's festival celebrated 100-year anniversary of the gift of trees given to Washington, D.C. by Tokyo, orchestrated by Yukio Ozaki, mayor of Tokyo at that time. Early promoters such as David Fairchild, who planted cherry trees in his home in Chevy Chase, his estate in 1906, also Eliza Sidmore, an editor and writer for National Geographic, who saw the trees while visiting several times in Japan, lobbied to plant Japanese trees in the nation's capital. Mrs. Sidmore first wrote to First Lady Taft, who replied in 1909 to take up this matter with her husband to plant these trees. Eliza Sidmore actually was on this campaign for about 20 years before this actually happened. And one little tidbit of history, you're right that the Jefferson was not here, and as a matter of fact, many citizens actually tied themselves to the trees. They didn't want the monument to come. They were afraid that the trees would be destroyed or ruined, but the Park Service worked with them, or the Army Corps of Engineers maybe at that time, to replace the trees that were at the memorial. This year's festival told the story of how this first wonderful gift of trees 100 years ago has now become the nation's greatest springtime celebration. Over this year's festival expanded 5 weeks. Normally it was about 16 days, 5 weeks for 2012, drew over 1.5 million attendees, but also touched millions of people, not only across the nation, but across the world. Some of the highlights included First Lady Michelle Obama planting a tree with us at the tidal basin, just representing the continuance of the gift and celebrating beginning for the next 100 years. Several descendants of some of those first involved 100 years ago were also part of our celebration throughout the 5 weeks. The festival collaborated with the National Geographic Society to publish a book called The Cherry Blossoms. It's a wonderful image book, again, telling that story about the nation's greatest springtime celebration. One of the most recognized artists, Peter Max, was the official artist of the Centennial poster this year. And many of you probably know the U.S. Postal Service created a cherry blossom stamp, and they sold 150 million of those stamps to commemorate the centennial. We were very pleased to present world-class performers, local, national, international performances, while still keeping majority of our events free and open to the public. Although the Cherry Blossom Festival is a Washington, D.C. community event, it attracts the attention of the nation and the world. The festival delivers a positive brand image for the city. The festival delivered a marketing and communications campaign that valued over $16 million, and that doesn't even include the international exposure. Visitor spending during the festival reaches over $150 million each year. One of the festival's key missions, however, is to engage the community, and that's why GW is the epitome of that, reaching out to the community, being involved. Extending the Cherry Blossom Festival here to the campus is just wonderful. We also plant cherry trees in all 8 wards of the cities. We help develop and execute youth educational programs. This past year, we actually collaborated with the Girl Scouts to create a patch that focuses on international friendship and environmental stewardship. One key program that we do have, and it's been a tradition over many, many years, is our Goodwill Ambassador program. This is comprised of current university students and recent graduates acting as cultural and community liaisons, sharing their knowledge and passion for international relations and especially Japan. There have been many students over the years from GW who have been a part of this program. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, we have a table over there. Alyssa Staley, Wave, and Harold McKeldin. They are part of our festival staff that has that information. So we welcome you to be part of it. We want to welcome many of our students to come back to volunteer, lots of volunteer programs, intern programs, and every once in a while there'll be a job popping up. 10 years ago, one of our key staff members now, who is the director of program, Lillian Iverson, Wave, she is actually a graduate from the GW program. She graduated in fall of 2004 with a master's in tourism administration. So again, we encourage you to be part of it, to help us expand the festival throughout the city, and to be a part of our plan for the next 100 years to continue and blossom our relationship with GW. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mayhew, for joining us on campus today and for all that you do for DC. And now, I'd like to invite today's speakers to join me next to the tree for a photo symbolizing the future planting. Following the photo, Haruka Nakagawa, a junior in the Columbian School of Arts and Sciences, will sing a Japanese song entitled Sakura. Haruka was born in Tokyo, Japan, and now resides in Bethesda, Maryland.
Minasan, konnichiwa. The song I'm going to sing today is called Sakura Sakura, which literally means cherry blossoms, oh cherry blossoms. It is a very popular traditional Japanese song which originated in the Edo period, and the song is basically about the ultimate admiration for the beauty of the cherry blossoms. Its mesmerizing beauty in the morning mist and fragrance. This song has been sung in many international settings, so some of you may recognize the melody. So I hope you enjoy Sakura Sakura. Thank you. Sakura, Sakura, yayoi no sora wa miwatasu kagiri
Thank you.
はるかさん、どうもありがとうございました。本日は皆さんお集まりくださいましてどうもありがとうございました。お弁当箱のチケットのお持ちの方はあちらのテーブルへお進みください。ごゆっくりお楽しみください。Okay, so before I send you off in English properly, I did just want to remind everyone, in case you haven't seen them, we do have some tabling displays over there, which includes some origami for you guys to do or information about our philanthropy this year. So please enjoy the food and thank you for coming today. And just to reiterate, if you did get one of those tickets for the bento box lunches today, you can claim that over here. Yes, over there. There, thank you. In that table over there. So thank you again for joining us and have a great afternoon.